Do you want to build perfect competitive Pokemon in Cobblemon? Well, Cobblemon 1.7 has introduced a new item called Mochi that makes this easier than ever. So in today's video, I'm going to teach you how you can use Mochi to max out your Pokemon's EVs easily in Cobblemon. Make sure to stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to save some of the best tips for last. And if you're pumped for Cobblemon 1.7, make sure to smash that subscribe button. So Cobblemon 1.7 introduces Mochi. Mochi is something you can feed your Pokemon that raises their EVs by 4. There's one for each stat, so Health Mochi does HP, Muscle Mochi does attack, and so on. And these are a fun new food item that can be cooked with the new cooking pot item in Cobblemon 1.7. So the first thing you'll need is a campfire pot, which can be crafted with copper ingots, glass, and then 2 apricorns of any color to choose the color you want. And you'll need to place that on top of the campfire. Then you'll need hardy grains, which is one of the new plants introduced in Cobblemon 1.7. And side note, I'm super excited to build fields with these. I think they look much more realistic than the normal Minecraft wheat plants. And hardy grains like this can easily be found growing around your world in Cobblemon 1.7. Once you have hardy grains, you can go to your cook pot, and then the recipe for mochi is fairly simple. It will take hardy grains, honey, and then depending on the kind of mochi you want, there is a specific type of berry you'll have to use. So for the special events mochi, which is the clever mochi, you'll need a greppa berry. And these berries are going to be the 6 berries that correspond to lowering an EV to raise friendship. These are also the same berries that can be used to make vitamins, which we'll talk about a little bit later in this video. So you can see here with each of the mochi, it just changes the kind of berry you need. So if you want muscle mochi to raise attack EV, you'll need a kelpie berry. If you want to raise the speed EV, you'll need a tomato berry. Special defense, like we said, is greppa. Defense is qualot. Special attack is hondu. And finally, HP is pomeg. And once you have the ingredients here, you can just put the lid on and that will start the cooking process. And as you can see, it has this awesome little bubbling feature that I think is super fun. And then it throws out the item for you. Now, hardy grains are pretty easy to come by. Honey bottles are pretty easy to come by. You can just get them from Combi, or if you're playing with normal Minecraft mobs enabled, you can get them from normal bees as well. The part that can take a little bit longer is getting the berries. So I'm going to go through how to get each of these berries. If you're not interested in that, feel free to skip ahead, but this is really important because you cannot make mochi or any of the other EV items without these berries. So we'll start up with the first one, the tomato berry. Tomato berry tree looks like this, but it has to be mutated. Just like each of these, we'll need to go through 3 stages of mutation to get the berry you want. So for the tomato berry, you'll need to breed a Persim and cherry berry, and that will create a figgy berry. Now, Persim berries can be found anywhere, and raspberries are found in forest biomes. Then you'll need to take that figgy berry, which looks like this, and breed it with raspberries, which can be found in forest biomes. And that will create the tauga or tuga berry. And I may have misspoken here. Cherry is plains. I can't remember if I said plains or forest, but cherry is plains, Persim is all, Raz is forest. And then once you have the tuga berry, which looks like this, you can breed that with an aka berry, which spawns in jungle and sandy biomes, and that can mutate to form a tomato berry. Next up is the kelpie berry, which is used for attack EVs, which looks like this. This one again will start with a Persim berry, which most of them do, which as we talked about is pretty easy to find. And then you need to breed that with a chesto berry, which are found in forest biomes, and this can be mutated to form a wiki berry. And we'll see they actually already have one right there that we formed on the first try, which is pretty lucky. Mix a wiki berry with a bluck berry to make a corn berry. Now, bluck berries are found in mountain and taiga biomes. Then, once you have the corn berry, you can mix that with a rindo berry, which are found in jungle and temperate biomes, and those can form together to make a kelpie berry. And if this sounds complicated, don't get overwhelmed. It is a little bit of work at first to get all of these berries, but once you do, you can just get rid of all these extra ones and just farm the important ones here. And at that point, it's pretty simple. You just have these 6 berries. You can farm them, and it's not too bad. So it's a little bit of work up front to get all of these berries, but once you do, it'll be super useful to have them on hand. You can farm as many EVs as you want really easily for all your Pokemon, and you'll get other berries in the process, which are going to be really useful for fishing and other things. Cobblemon's just been putting more and more emphasis on berries recently, so this is an investment that's worth your time. But next up, we have the qualot berry, which looks like this. To get the qualot berry, you'll start with a Persim berry and a pecha berry to get a mago berry. Pecha berries are found in jungle and swamp biomes. Then you'll take that mago berry and mix it with a nanab berry, which are found in jungle biomes, and these will form to make a magos berry, which is this funky looking one right here. And you can mix a magos berry with a roselli berry, which roselli berries are actually only dropped by Pokemon, the easiest of which, the most common Pokemon is Nickit. So you'll want to knock out a bunch of Nickit, and that's going to be your best chance of getting a roselli berry. And when you mix these two together, that will form your qualot berry. Now we're halfway there. Our next one is the Hondu berry, which is this funky looking one right here. To make the Hondu berry, you first need to start with a persimmon berry and a raspberry. And raspberries are found in biomes with the arid tag, and these can form to make an aguave berry. Then you can mix an aguave berry with a wapere berry, which are one of the most common ones. They are spawned in plains biomes. They're also dropped by bouffalon. They're pretty easy to come by. And you can mix these two to get a rabuta berry, which I think is one of the most fun ones to say and looks super weird. It has elytra wings here almost. But you can mix the rabuta berry with a shucca berry, and shucca berries are found in arid and grassland biomes, and those will form a Hondu berry. And for some reason, Pelipper is just doing hip-hop dance over here. Gotta love these new animations. Now our second to last berry that we need is the greppa berry, which looks like this. Now to get the greppa berry, we'll start with a persimmon berry and asper berries. Asper berries spawn in mountain biomes. And when you mix these, you can get an ipapa berry, which will look like this. And you mix that with a pineapple berry, and these will form a nomal berry. And pineapple berries are found in arid biomes. Then when you mix a nomal berry with a yacha or yasha, I don't really know the right way to pronounce that berry, these will form a greppa berry. And the yacha or whatever you call it is found in freezing and taiga biomes. And then our final berry, the pomeg berry, is actually by far the easiest one to come by. This one allows you to mix an oran berry, which is found literally everywhere in Cobblemon, with one of several berries that you've already used. You can mix it with a cherry, chesto, pecha, ros, or asper berry, and any of those can form a lum berry, which looks like this. Then a lum berry can be mixed with any of the secondary berries that we've already bred. So figgy, wiki, mago, aguave, or ayapapa. Any of those that you've made with the other ones, you can mix, and that will form a citrus berry, which is also just a helpful healing berry in general, and looks like this. And then you can just mix the citrus berry with a haban berry, which are found in jungle and mountain biomes, and this will form your pomeg berry. If you stuck through all that, you're a real one, and you are well on your way to building strong competitive Pokemon in Cobblemon. Now we're gonna get into a couple more tips about it, but if you made it this long, make sure to subscribe for more Cobblemon 1.7 and competitive Pokemon content. Now once you have Mochi, it's a pretty simple process. You can just right click your Pokemon to feed it to them, and you can see here Golurk started with no attack IVs, and then now they've been raised. Now this is a great start to EV training, and it's super fun to use the EVs. It looks like right now, at least in the snapshot, that they may max out how many Mochi you can feed to a Pokemon, which is a little bit lame, but we do have a way to get past that. Using these exact same berries that we've just farmed, you can craft vitamins. Now vitamins are things like protein, carbose, and these will raise your Pokemon's EVs by even more, and the same berries align with the same stats. So then you can feed that to your Pokemon and max them out the rest of the way. Now, these are a lot more expensive to come by, and we'll get him here to the last EV there. And you can see his attack EVs are maxed out. But again, these are a little more expensive to craft. You also need nature mints and medicinal brew, so it's a little bit more of a late game item. So you can start off with Mochi to get your Pokemon's IVs a little bit higher, and then once you're more established in your world, you can build vitamins to bring them up the rest of the way. Now, it's possible in future updates, or when Cobblemon 1.7 is officially out, they might change the limit on Mochi, or the limit on protein, or the limit on vitamins, so you have to keep an eye out for that. But as for now, this is the best method for building competitive Pokemon. And I have a complete guide on how to build pretty much like an automatic vitamin farm to max out your Pokemon's EVs, and so I'll link that video in the description here. I recommend you check that out right now so you can build the best competitive Pokemon in Cobblemon. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.